Hey there. So there's been a lot that's been going on with, with media lately. So we wanted to take some time and get together with Hala, who's one of our media leads here at Enilon, just to get like a quick overview of, what are all the things that are changing, and what are the important things for us to know about them. So hi, Hala. Thanks for joining.
Hi, thank you for having me.
All right. So how about you give us a quick rundown on what's going on?
Sure. So there's just like you mentioned, there's been a lot of changes, which is good and bad because with marketing, it's always fast-paced. There's always some changes, but we'll kind of run through them today. And from my perspective, they all of these updates fall within three categories. So we have the privacy and transparency and like the trust building category, which we've been talking about for a while with the cookieless conversation and kind of that blog post that we have about getting ready for the deprecation of cookies. And then the other topic or the other sort of umbrella is about automation in just digital marketing in general as it relates to these platforms, and then also just some general updates about Instagram and some about LinkedIn. So we can kind of go through them. I really want to start with the privacy conversation, just like we mentioned. We've been talking about it for a while, and the cookie conversation that we've been having. We were anticipating that Google is going to diminish those third-party cookies around 2023, but now they sort of pushed it to 2024. So a lot of that just comes from, digital advertising has gotten really advanced, and also there's just a lot more talk about it, which is really great. There's a lot of people kind of going over a lot of the automations or the machine learning, or how do we remarket, how do we use people's data. And Google has been really great, and even Facebook and all these platforms have been really great at like transitioning into a more privacy first approach. And they've been doing really great kind of like initiatives on how to limit our access as advertisers to the consumers' data, but it's also presented a lot of obstacles. And so one of the solutions that kind of Google has been coming up with is GA4, and us setting up, those parameters and setting up those goals there. But also they've come up with just sort of a topics API. And what it basically does is that it boxes or groups people into topics. So depending on what you're currently searching for, let's say, fitness or travel, or transportation, or like if you're in the group of people that's like planning a vacation, what would you need for those different things? So instead of tapping into very hyper specific in market or very hyper specific audience segments, now they're kind of broadening it up, and they're just using the data that they have access to create those audiences that we can kind of use. So it's basically a different approach. It's definitely not their final product. They had several products that led up to this, but it's pretty cool how they're just changing the way that they're grouping people. So that's definitely interesting for us to look forward to and sort of see how we can utilize it. And then another thing is what they're calling like their privacy sandbox, and they'll definitely bring in more aspects into it. But for now, we're still sort of just waiting and seeing how we can sort of not overthrow, but like how to use a lot of these different approaches to not lose any data. And so that's a great segue into Facebook, because I feel the iOS 14 privacy update impacted Facebook more than the other platforms, just because we relied heavily on behavior, the consumer's behavior online, and just following them into different where they're at and targeting them there. So that has proved to be kind of difficult after that iOS 14 update, especially with just being able to remarket and getting those audiences in an optimal position. And so they're smart, they're trying to figure it out. But one of the approaches that Facebook is telling advertisers to take is to rely more on their in-platform audiences. So instead of relying heavily on customer lists or custom audiences where we create web remarketing, they're telling advertisers to focus more on their first-party data. So leveraging who's already interacted with your ads, who's already seen some of your ads, liked your pages, liked your posts, and trying to leverage that data first and sort of layering onto your other data sets so that you have a more robust audience. And another one is also opening up a lot of our lookalike audiences. So in the past, it was best practice to keep your lookalike audience at like a 1% just to have that most accurate similarities. But now they're telling people to open it up a little to about 3%, and help just kind of reach a broader audience. And then their machine learning and their algorithm will kind of take that data and present the ads to the most relevant audience group. So there is sort of some trial and error there, but it is somewhat of a solution instead of having nothing at all. So definitely changing our perspective on how we target people is really important. And then the third update on that front is that Facebook is going to introduce some B2B targeting options. So, which is really great for Facebook. We've never seen that before, and it's really it's really something to anticipate. Now they are starting with more of a SaaS industry related topic. So a lot of the audiences that they're going to roll out are related to IT decision makers, are related to business decision makers in those arenas based on their interests and their titles, which we've never seen Facebook do, specifically B2B, and then also just being able to target new businesses, businesses that have been open for 6 or 12 or 24 months. If you're a SaaS company and you're offering a project management tool or some sort of service that caters to those businesses, it's really a great time to target them on Facebook, since we now will have these targeting segments. So great update from Facebook there. And they're anticipating that all of these combined segments will account for about 2.9 billion people that are on Facebook that have these specific titles or are going to be part of those groups. So in terms of just changing the perspective on how we're going to target people in a privacy first era, these are solutions that we're definitely excited to start testing.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm very interested to see some of those targeting changes and the performance as we kind of do some testing with our clients and those.
Yeah, it'll definitely take some fine tuning just to sort of see how these different segments react to a lot of the ads that they're being served, or what their interests are and how to target them in a more relevant way. But it's definitely a step in the right direction for sure. And then in terms of just automation in digital marketing and these platforms, so there have been a few changes with Google specifically. We have Google Pro Max, and then the AAR, which is the auto apply recommendations, and then what we've been talking about internally for a while, which is Google responsive display and search. So for Pro Max, what they did there was they sort of held back on the smart campaigns, and now they've introduced performance max campaigns, which are basically a combination of smart bidding and then also just automation on the front end if you're doing e-commerce. So it's definitely a very comprehensive campaign type. It's definitely geared more towards e-commerce versus just any sort of service-based solution, but it's definitely great to see that Google is continuously building on top of the campaigns or the campaign types that they've introduced in the past, and they've sort of took smart campaigns, took the best part of it, and then sort of made it better. So it's definitely something that is great to try out with your business. If you're in e-commerce, it has a lot of great features because it combines Google's automation technology, and then it with across bidding and just optimization, audiences, all of these things that we had with smart campaigns, but a little extra. So it's really great to see them finally roll it out as they sort of held back smart campaigns, and then just sort of seeing how they're continuously improving their campaigns. So that's a definitely great update from Google. And then also the AAR, which is their auto applied recommendations. So a lot of our time when optimizing campaigns, we spend it looking at the recommendations that Google is telling us to apply, whether that's keyword related, bid related, ad copy related. That segment of the platform is really interesting to see how what Google sort of recommends you to just rank up your ads and improve your bidding and improve your keywords. So it's taken out a lot of that manual labor with going in, looking at the keywords or looking at the bids and sort of doing that manually. They've now introduced sort of a tool where you can look at those recommendations and sort of click whichever ones you would like to have automatically applied. So whether it's taking out any duplicate keywords or redundancies, automatically taking some of those ad recommendations. It's really interesting to see how they sort of bundle that in with their existing recommendations, and they really want people to know that this is in no way, shape, or form going to affect the budget that they have. So even if some bids are changed, or even if some ad copy or keywords are removed, it's never going to change your bid strategy. It's never going to go over the budget that you recommend for it. What they're trying to do is just kind of give us more time focusing on strategy, focusing on ads, versus doing that manual labor, redundant tasks every day or every week. So it's really great to see them rolling that out. And there's definitely instances where you might turn it on for a while and turn it off, go back to manual. It's very easy to go back and forth. So it's great that they're giving us this tool to help us, automate some of our redundant work and focus more on strategy. And it's definitely something that you're going to have to fine tune to how you run your ads and how you like to sort of optimize your campaigns. But it's definitely a great tool to try if you're trying to remove some of that manual labor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's awesome, just as far as taking out some of the manual tasks, and I think it's just important to know it's like a combination of letting the automation and the algorithms and things do their thing, while also being able to provide the strategy and the oversight to it, so you get the right balance.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you want to keep an eye on. And sort of just see if it's going in the direction that you would like. But it's definitely great to have that tool. If you do something repeatedly every day or every week or every month, it's great that you can kind of have that on the side, let it do its thing, and then sort of come back to it and check where it's been.
Mm-hmm.
And then another great segue to that is just Google's responsive ads, search and display. Recently, we got an update for search ads that Google will no longer let you create new expanded text ads. So what that means is that from, I think the deadline was June 30th of 2022, sorry. And after that point, we were, it was saying that we can't create new extended text ads. We can continue running them. We can continue with the budget. We can turn them off, but we can't create new ones and we can't edit the existing ones. That's because they're trying to push search, responsive search ads. And I, for one, I love the search display ads. I think it's really great that we have more control over adding, more headlines, more descriptions, making it more dynamic, and definitely having the Google algorithm and machine learning take and create the best possible ad from the options that you give it. So it's definitely something that we've seen great success with, and definitely relieves some of the redundant work of creating multiple ads with the same sort of vibe or feel or objective or relevancy, putting them all into one and having Google as a platform determine which is the best combination of all these different descriptions, images, and so on. And so that directly translated into responsive display ads. And the benefits with those is that, previously you would have to upload different variations of the different sizes of the graphics, and now they're sort of allowing us to upload multiple images, multiple videos, which we haven't been able to do before. And then also text, descriptions, anything that would go into that ad. And again, it'll use its machine learning and algorithm to sort of dictate what is the best combination of the videos and the text and the headlines, and create a relevant ad for our audience that we're targeting. So it's definitely something that will, save time when you're creating graphics or when you're uploading graphics, and also just doing the manual labor of, deciding what is your best performing ad and testing 2 or 3 times to figure out what that might be. But with Google Signals and with their machine learning, it's definitely a faster process to get to what would be your prime best converting ad on display. So definitely something that we're testing out right now, and we've seen great success with it. It's definitely also helped our clients just give us creative quicker. But just to kind of give us those ads and those videos, they're really excited about the videos, to be able to do that with the display. So definitely a great update from Google as well. If you're still running extended text ads, you can continue running them, but the recommendation is that you slowly pivot more towards the responsive search ads, because you won't longer be able to edit them. And then, it's just better to kind of go with the recommendation to try to help your, just your overall account rank and optimize on a better score. And so definitely try it out. And, it is something that we've had success with, and it's definitely something that has been interesting to use and sort of see how the different headlines and the different descriptions sort of work together to create a better relevant ad for the audience.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then also with Facebook, they're trying out their Meta Advantage campaigns, which is very similar to the smart campaigns that Google were using. And so it gives us a bit of automation on our end as advertisers when we're creating products, specifically geared towards e-commerce. When you're using your catalogs, you're creating catalog ads. It's definitely something that you can, set up in about 5 minutes, have it running, and having it be completely run, automated sort of bidding and automated combination of products. So they're definitely, Facebook is going more towards automation as well with the Meta Advantage. And they're, that solution was specifically designed to earn and sort of sustain results over the long period of time. So the longer you run it, the more signals it gets, the more data it collects, and the better it would be able to create those dynamic or responsive ads with as it relates to just Facebook. So that's also a great update from Facebook as it moves more towards automation and helps us as advertisers focus more on strategy and less on like labor intensive work with creating different variations of carousels or different variations of ads. So we haven't tested that one out, but I've heard some great reviews from advertisers online trying out their Advantage and Advantage Plus campaigns. And it's a completely automated campaign, with the creation and the journey. And then there's also some manual aspects to it, but overall it's meant to be a self-sustaining campaign. So I'm pretty excited to see how that turns out as well.
So it sounds like that's going to be a good, like, just A/B test.
Yeah, for sure.
As starting to kind of like transition campaigns over there as it proves itself out.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like it's also something that you can layer in, excuse me, you can layer into your existing campaigns. You don't have to turn off anything just yet, but you might be able to sort of compare it to what you're traditionally running, and then sort of seeing what Facebook is recommending as a, as an automated solution.
Mm-hmm.
And then for our last kind of piece of updates, we do have some general updates with LinkedIn. I don't know if you've heard, but they're growing, and they're trying to be more content driven. So they're, encouraging people and advertisers to create more content on the platform, share more about their daily lives, and sort of collect and contribute to, different conversations that are happening online, different conversations that are happening in the business world. So they're kind of moving away from just being business centric, but they're also trying to have people use the platform more in a social media perspective, and they're trying to get people to stay longer on the site. They're trying to get people to contribute more data, more, articles, more video, more content, so, to sort of be able to tap into that later and sort of aid content creators that are doing or creating content in the business world. So they want to be the first platform that houses that kind of content, and the first place that people go to when they want to learn more about the business or learn more about changes or updates that are happening in the business world. So they're definitely pivoting more towards content. And I definitely think that that's something that TikTok triggered. A lot of people have been sharing more about their stories in the business world in corporate America, and a lot of accounts are dedicated to helping people, tailor their resume or how to enter a specific industry. So LinkedIn sort of wants to tap into that and take advantage of that and have people create that sort of content on their platform, since they're, a business related platform. So they're definitely ranking or boosting a lot of the content that's created on their platform. So we should definitely be seeing some sort of reach expansion when it comes to organic content that's been posted on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of this. I actually spend so much more time on LinkedIn recently just because of the amount of content that's being produced that's actually helpful and valuable. And I think that's
Yeah.
definitely the push. I think something like only 1% of the LinkedIn users are actually considered active content contributors.
Yeah.
So they're definitely trying to encourage and I think optimized for the people that are sitting and out there contributing, and it's almost turning into like a microblog, if you will, and
Yeah.
really encouraging the native content on the platform itself. So
Yeah, definitely. They're trying to get a more engaged audience on their platform. They want, they want to increase that daily active users. And it's definitely great for advertisers as well, because the more data that we can, the more data that LinkedIn can house, the more accurately we will be able to kind of gauge what are people interested in, how do we create ads that are relevant to the audience that is on the platform. So it's definitely a win-win situation. They're definitely trying to rebrand, in a sense, their features and what people can do on their platform for sure.
awesome.
And then also the last piece here is Instagram. And Instagram, a lot of people are angry with Instagram because they keep pivoting their algorithm, they keep changing sort of their priorities. And again, it's definitely led by TikTok. It's those, Instagram has been one of the top social media platforms for a while. And now that TikTok is sort of their contender, they're pivoting more towards a video first platform. They're definitely encouraging people to create more video, more reels, more interactive content for their audience. They're definitely moving more towards smaller content creation, smaller businesses, trying to give them priority, trying to expand their reach, trying to give them more of the tools that they need to expand on the platform. A lot of people were kind of comparing Facebook and TikTok, and how TikTok really helps smaller businesses or entrepreneurs reach a bigger audience with the topics that they're talking about or the content that they're creating. So definitely Instagram heard that. They're definitely trying to also cater not to just the big influencers, the big companies, but they're also now focusing on smaller businesses and smaller contributors and trying to give people kind of like a more level playing field. So video is the way to go, at least for now, in trying to boost your visibility on that platform. And it's definitely been interesting to see the creative ways that people have been creating those videos. I know we've been trying really hard to create those videos and be entertaining and be educated, and give people a more in-depth look on a lot of the intricacies of marketing. So it's definitely been interesting to see how other people are doing it as well. A lot of great content being created right now.
Wow, this was a lot of changes, a lot of information. I really do appreciate you bringing this all to us. Of all the things you talked about, what are you most interested in testing out?
Ooh. Um, so there's a few. I think the AAR, like their automated applied recommendations, it's something I'm really looking forward to just tapping into, because again, there's a lot of redundancies. So hopefully that will, when we test it out, it'll be something that benefits us as marketers. And so definitely wanting to try that out, but also with Facebook rolling out some B2B audience segments. I think that's really important that they're moving away from just D2C or different direct to customer or e-commerce or those sorts of behavior interest targeting, and moving more towards business, because more and more businesses are looking to Facebook to advertise their product or their service. And so it's definitely interesting to see how they're going to compete with LinkedIn on that. Competition always creates like a really great innovation in a sense, because they're trying to give us more solutions. So those two I think are the ones that I'm definitely looking forward to.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us, Hala, and we'll definitely do this again soon.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.